My name is Knoxville Moto, and I make bad choices. Welcome back to Knoxville Moto. Today I'm going to talk about what it was like to transition from my RS660 to this Panigale V4S. I only had about a year's worth, maybe a little more than a year's worth riding experience when I bought the V4S. And so, you know, what was it like to transition to this bike with, you know, when I was still a pretty novice rider, and I would argue that I still am. And honestly, it wasn't as bad as I had been led to believe. Everybody told me when I was thinking about buying a leader bike, they're like, bro, you're gonna kill yourself, you're gonna sit on it, and you're just gonna look at it and it's gonna kill you. And like, I was basically led to believe that leader bikes are really unstable and, you know, they're just incredibly hard to ride. That's actually not true with modern day leader bikes. And modern day leader bikes, with all the electronics and controls and everything else, they're super easy to ride for the most part. They're very controllable. The biggest thing that makes this more difficult to ride than my RS660 is actually just the height. Once you get used to putting one foot down and being comfortable with only 1 foot on the ground, it's really not that big of a deal. But as far as like dynamics and stability and everything else, it feels just like a smaller bike. I mean, it's a little heavier. The combination of the fact that you know, can only get 1 foot down, and the fact that it's a little heavier, yeah, it makes it a little easier to potentially drop. So that's something to be aware of. But really, it's not like difficult or harsh to ride. The big thing, obviously, is that it's got just gobs of power. The RS660 is quick up to 100 miles an hour. In my opinion, when you get to 100 miles an hour, it starts to struggle. At least in my opinion, kind of hits a wall right at about 100 miles an hour. Whereas like this bike is just absolutely does not care. 100 miles an hour is cruising speed for this bike. Like, it's happy at 100 miles an hour. Anything less than that, it's you know, it's trying to push you to go faster. From 100 to 160 miles an hour is basically effortless. The problem with leader bikes is not that they're difficult to ride. The problem with leader bikes is that they're so easy to ride and to ride fast. This bike, it's effortless to get up to like 160 miles an hour. I mean, that's practically nothing. The bike doesn't even feel like it's, you know, really struggling. It doesn't feel like it's doing hardly anything to get up to 160 miles an hour. Problem is stopping and braking and turning. The problem with a bike like this is that it takes very little skill to get yourself into trouble. It takes quite a bit of skill to get yourself out of trouble. It's effortless to go really fast in a straight line. Stopping and turning, that's where you really require the skill. And if you're a new rider, it's easy to get yourself in over your head. I know, I've almost done it a couple times. The other thing too is, like, my RS660, it's hard to ride within the speed limits, but it's not hard to ride within like what I call like sane limits. With a bike like this, or really, I think probably any modern leader bike, you get addicted to the acceleration, and it's super easy to make bad choices on a bike like this. You just want to crack the throttle to well into the triple digit speeds all the time. there's a time and a place where you can get away with it, and you're not always thinking about that. It's like there's always a voice in the back of your head that's like, bro, you should do the speed limit, you should be safe, you should be whatever. And then there's another voice that's like, that, do crime. Like right now, I'm doing like 90 plus miles an hour, and this feels like just cruising. This feels like just like it's totally happy to do this, just going down the highway. 100 miles an hour feels like rock solid on this bike. It's insane. It's interesting because there are new ways to get yourself in trouble on a bike like this that you really don't have to worry about that much on something like the RS660. A bike like this is so fast and has so much power that, say I'm leaned over and coming out of a corner like this one, and I get on the throttle too hard too early, I can really spin the back wheel if I try. I'm sure the RS660 will do that, but it's a lot harder. It takes more like almost conscious effort to really push the bike in order to get it to do something like that. Let's see if this guy pulls out in front of me or not. Whereas like this, it's a lot easier to accidentally do something like that. The RS660, don't get me wrong, like I said, it's fast for what it is, but it doesn't have so much power that it wants to wheelie all the time. Like I have the traction control on mine turned completely off, and the wheelie control turned completely off. And occasionally it will try to come up on you. This thing in third gear will try to come up on you just by rolling into the throttle. The first time it ever happened to me, I was like, whoa, there it is. It's also true that this bike runs a lot hotter than the RS660. I think that's just a function of the fact that A, it makes double the power, B, the way the engine's configured, the way that the exhaust bank comes out right by your back legs, the rear two exhaust ports come right by your back legs. They've had virtually no time in any kind of airflow to cool down, and so it's just dumping heat straight into your legs. There's no way to avoid that, I don't think, on this engine configuration, to be honest.
So I want to go back to the original question of this video: should you buy a liter bike so quickly after you first start riding? And I think from my 6 months of experience, my whole 6 months of experience, I think what I would say is, I don't know that I recommend it for a lot of people, but I also wouldn't say I discourage it either. I really think it comes down to each individual person. I've had so much fun on this bike. It is so fun. It has so much power, but then you get really addicted to that power after a while, and it like draws you in and encourages you to do stupid. And so, like I said, there's always this devil on your shoulder that's like, do $160, it's fine, it's fine. I think that definitely this bike, you're going to be increasing the risk a little bit. You might not think so right now, but once you start riding a bike like this, like I said, it's just so hard to do the speed limit and not be stupid. If you're going to be honest with yourself and ask yourself, like, how skilled am I a rider? Am I pushing outside of my skill level? I mean, maybe if you are super comfortable on your current bike and you're like, I feel like I'm ready for the next level, nobody knows you better than you. I mean, and if you're being honest and you feel like you're ready for the next level, then maybe you are. If you are being honest with yourself and you're struggling at your current level, not the way to go. But like I said, realistically at this level, it really comes down to you. Are you willing to tolerate the extra added risk? And can you be patient with the bike and work on your skill set and ride within your skill set, even though the bike encourages you to do stupid all the time? That's what I'd ask myself looking back. That's what I'd ask myself if I were looking at buying one of these bikes today. Anyway, I hope this was helpful for some of you guys. If you enjoyed this, please go ahead and like, share, subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and helps me do some more of this stuff. As usual, ride safe, enjoy the weather, and I'll see you next time.